Right. So another quick chunk here going in. Uh, so we left off with the uh, the tidy function working pretty well. Now the follower right there kind of jumped around pretty aggressively. We'll have to take a look at that, but that's okay. But we run into issues when we try to remove a cartridge now, right? Because there it came out of there, but it's actually not even un. See that? There's still it's still considering them uh, as captive, and they shouldn't be. So something is amiss. And there's some of the other ones that are not being considered captive, kind of, right? Because watch, when I push down on this, it's not moving this one, whichever this one is, right there, right? Right? See, that one's those two at the bottom actually. So we're taking them off the wrong end, it seems. The wrong end of the array. But that doesn't make sense for how we're doing it, because the first one in is going to be the first one out, right? So I am a little confused. I'm sure I'm just making an error of judgment here. So let's, well, I wouldn't say an error of judgment, error of logic. So let's have a look. So first off, let's think about this. What if, just to keep track of which ones no, that wouldn't really help. Maybe it could. Maybe it could. So when we release the cartridge, give up cartridge, I forget how we do this. Let's look this up super quick. Right. Here we go. Well, that would move it, but I want to rotate it. Set rotation. That could work. Right. So that way we'll know that the cartridge has been removed. And let's add some logging as well, because we're going to need it. So let's also just, we already have this. We already have that. And then on the other hand, when we append, okay. All right. Good. And let me show you the debug screen, huh? There we go. I don't need to zoom it in quite that aggressively, huh? Yeah, that looks fine. Okay, so pull this over here. So, and that's what I would expect. See that? We've appended 1 to the captive, so the length is 1. Right? And that's great. Now let's just try taking it right back out. And that's good. So see how we flipped it around just to show that it had been removed? So that's good. And then we can see here, magazine gives cartridge to player, and then pop back captive 0. And then player receives cartridge from magazine. So that's perfect. That all worked as expected, right? So if we put it back in, now there's still only 1 in there, which is good. So let's put another one in. Now it says the length is 2. And the length is not 0-based. If it says there's 2 items in the array, there's 2 items in the array. So that's good. There's 2 cartridges in there. There's two rounds in this magazine. So if we remove 1 now, right? That worked, and it's actually been removed. See that? So then the follower moved up. See? But the cartridge did not move up. Why did the cartridge not move up? So let's see. Let's look. At what point do we call tidy? So we give up the cartridge, and then we call tidy. So here we are then in the tidy method, and we set I equals 0, and then we're looping through the captive cartridges. And then we set the cartridge transform origin Y equal to this. And it works. It moves the follower up. But it doesn't move the cartridge up. You see that? So let's just, real quick, let's put a log statement in here, because I'm a little lost. All right. Uh-oh, the cat got in trouble for being on the counter. You a little sprinkled there with the squirt bottle, cat? Alright. I can play with you with the string in a bit, kitty. Help me remember. Alright. So oh my. That got called a lot more than I was expecting. That might be our problem. Why did that get called so many times? Well, maybe because... Okay, so take it out. Tidy, that's fine. Right? I put it in. Right? I think while I'm still holding it back against the magazine, it's still calling it. Right? So, yeah, that is what's happening. Which is fine-ish. There's nothing wrong with that. Right? But it's a little silly. We only need to call it once. Right? So we do a couple things. We could either just have a flag, and if no cartridge has been put into the magazine, it doesn't need to have a tidy called. And then it will call it once, right? When a cartridge bumps up against the fully seated position, and then it won't call it again. Okay, how are you gonna tip over that garbage on me? Yeah. Okay. It's working. It's calling it for 0 and for 1. So now I pull one out, and it does it. See that? Tidy 0. But it did not move this cartridge. Now here's another question. If we put a cartridge in here, does this cartridge move down? Because it should still be in the array of the magazine, right? You can see that length, that magazine length in the logs here says 1, right? Or does this one move? Because is it falsely considering this one to still be in that array? So let's find out. See that? It's moving the wrong one. Isn't that something? So, I don't get that. I don't get that. Unless we're appending, and append works the wrong way. Because I thought append put an object on the end of the array. Like this. So, if we append an item, let's say we had 0 and 1 already here, and we append a new one, I thought the new one goes on the end. Doesn't it? Let's just double check. Because I'm a little... We need to figure out what's going on here. Something isn't right. Okay, so if we call append, appends an element at the end of the array. Oh, it's an alias of push back. Right. So we want to make sure we're not calling push front, right? Yeah. See this. Cartridges pop back. And then when it... And we don't have too many, right? Because you can see this. Captive. The captive cartridge count is 1. So we have the right number in there. So it's not like we're calling it... It's not like we're double adding it to the array or double removing it from the array. It's just we're taking it off the wrong side, but it doesn't seem like we should be taking it off the wrong side. It seems like we're taking it off the correct side. Oh. Unless we're passing the wrong reference when we fire the append? Could that be it? See what I mean? I am confused. Okay. This is probably staring me right in the face, but... Right. What if this is actually a reference to the wrong one? That shouldn't be possible because, well, because no matter what, this is going to be a reference to the, well, is it? No, it's gotta be. Because it's not like this is being called more than once. And my cartridge is actually making its 90-degree turn, right? So if it was using the reference to the wrong one, we would see one of the other rounds move in the magazine, right? It's easier to talk with this picture. We'd see, like, this one move back. Or something. If you see what I'm saying, right? As this one came to turn the corner, right? Because at this inflection point, it actually switches it from a slider going in this direction to a slider going in this direction. So if we had the wrong cartridge in that function, because at this point is when we add it to the list of captive cartridges, because if it's captive, I mean to say that it's in the stack that's moving all together as one big stack of cartridges, right? Which maybe that's an unnecessary distinction, but yeah, they're all locked together vertically at that point, and held in by the feed lips. Anyway, we could change this append to a push back. Right, it should do exactly the same thing. Do we even need a distinction here between cartridges and captive cartridge? Are we ever using the cartridges array? I don't really think so. I think we're overcomplicating this. So instead of having captive cartridges and cartridges, let's just have cartridges. And then, so this will give us a little bit of simplification, maybe. Alright, and then here, we're not gonna add it to the array yet. Cartridges. Alright. And then when we give up, we're just gonna do that. Yeah, I don't know why. It kind of made sense when I did it in my head, but I don't think it actually makes sense to have two different arrays for that. That's a little silly. Alright. Now, I don't think that's going to make a lick of difference. I'm just going to run it again to make sure I didn't break anything before we go on to make any more changes. So, okay, there it is. Now we can stop that from running multiple times, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Right? Alright. So, now let's take one out. It flips it around just as an indicator to me to show that it did flip it. Right? But So it did remove that one, or it tried to. Now, there's another way we could do this, where we literally just loop through the array and remove that entity, that instance, but that doesn't really help, because it should be in a stack. It should be an array. Otherwise it's no good. It's so weird. So these two are still in the array, but this one is supposed to be up there. Yeah. But instead, this one's actually still the captive one. So if we put another one in, again, watch, this one over here is going to actually drop. See that? And that one on the bottom isn't moving. See that? Okay. Now this one isn't going to move because this one was never added to the array. But now that we've removed two of them, these bottom two are actually not going to move, and only this one up here is going to move. Well, that might actually be a logic error, because this one was never in there to begin with, see? But indeed, yes, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, so we're gonna have to figure that out. Here, so you go give up cartridge. Give cartridge. Give up cartridge. It's a kind of a weird flag, but I'm saying if they just were starting to put it in, but it wasn't in yet, and then they take it out, then it doesn't change the actual array of the magazine, right? That's a bad name for that flag, though. Was captive? Sure. That makes a little bit more sense. So, maybe I'm just misunderstanding what they're saying when they say pop back. Like, what's the back of the array and what's the front of the array, you know? Maybe I'm just got that confused. Let's just try flipping around. I could have swear I had them the right way around, but let's look. See, removes and returns the first element of the array. On large arrays, this is much slower, as it will re-index all the array elements every time it is called. See, that doesn't seem right. It seems like pop back removes and returns the last element. We definitely want pop back, right? Because then if we look at append or push back, appends an element to the end of the array. It's gotta be. There's no way. There's no way we're misreading this, right? So we want to push from the back and pop from the back. That's the only right answer. That's the only right answer. It's first in, first out. I'm so confused. I'm very confused. I'm very confused. I want to understand this. I want to see what's going on. So let's give the cartridges actual numbers so we can see which is which. So let's go. This is a little silly, but I think this is not a terrible idea. Okay. Why is it not like that? Oh, name is a okay. I could do underscore ID. I don't like doing that. Temp ID. Alright, fine. Okay. So then, when we go to the player, and we create all these bullets, right here, okay. So, now all the cartridges are numbered, right? They have identifiers. So, if we now go to the magazine, let's make a it's gonna have an extra comma in there, but hey, this is my function. I can do whatever I want. I could say this maybe. Doesn't really matter, but I think that would clean it up if I'm just doing it for my own satisfaction. I think this works. We'll see. I could do rstrip, but whatever. Cool. And then, let's run this command when. Let's run it whenever we append something, right here. And then let's run it when we, after we remove something. So, and then let's see what we get. I think this is going to be illuminating, but we'll see. Okay, here we go. I'm kind of curious. I want to know what's going on here. Why isn't it like that? Too few arguments. Oh, of course. So, in the vertical, here, this is the case where it's going to be false. Because it never was captive, right? And then at this stage, right, put true, because it has been captive. Alright? And then do we ever call it anywhere else? I think that's good. Alright. Okay, now hold on. Let's look at our logs here. Oh, I missed it. Okay, that's right. Alright, come on, OBS. There we go. Pop it out of there. That's what we'd expect. See the empty magazine. Alright, let's put it back in. That follower is we're gonna have to fix that, but we'll do that later, right? It scrolls too fast here. And get the actual thing open. Okay. There we go. Okay, so we have round 14 is in play here, right? This is round 14. Okay, that's fine. Oh, oops. Well, that's kind of weird. Why are we not printing a comma between those? That's gonna annoy me. Let's fix it. I stripped the comma, but I forgot to add the comma. There we go. There we go. Okay. We spent way too much time on that, but that's okay. Okay. Need to remember to let go of it faster. So again, we picked round 14 first. I wonder if this is the first round. I wonder if this is round 0. Because of where I took it from. Anyway, put it in there. Oh, that's round 13. Interesting. Okay, so now we have 14 is on the bottom, and 13 is on the top. Okay? Now the array, let me get my cursor in here. The array looks like I want it to look. See this? Where 13 is at the end of the array. This is the back of the array, back here, right? And this is the front of the array. So it's first in, first out. Or first in, last out, rather. Okay, hold on, I don't remember actually. 14 is the bottom one, right? Shoot. Okay, well, we can solve this really easily. We can scroll up. Here we go. Yes, 14 is the bottom one. Okay, 14 is the bottom one. 13 is the one that we just put in. So we're about to take 13 out. So we're going to call pop back on this array. We call pop back on this array. Oops. It should remove round 13. Shouldn't it? Do you agree? So that's not what's happening. So let's try it, right? Here we go. Sorry, catch up, OBS. Come on. Uh-oh. May have froze it. Uh-oh. Alright, that's fine. I don't know how I freeze Godot sometimes, but I surely do freeze it. Alright. Try that again. Got one of these hot hands chemical heat bags because I just went on a 2-mile walk to the store, and it was round trip. It was 7 degrees Fahrenheit. It was negative. Well, let's think about that. 7 degrees Fahrenheit is like 4 degrees Celsius over freezing, so that's like negative 14 Celsius, something like that. Godot is not happy with me. Let's just restart it. Let's just restart it. And these are expired, so I was like, I may as well use them. Not let them go to waste. Alright. Now we're cooking. Magazine. Boom. Run. Alright. Continue play. Makarov. Alright. What's gonna happen? Where's round 1? 13. My guess is 14, 13. Let's say this is the first round, round 0. Oh, was it? I didn't see. Yes, that's round 0. Okay, this might make it a little easier, although it might hurt my head. But we'll see. Okay, so this is round 0. This one right here. This is round 1. All right. Let's put it in there. Okay. That's fine. So we appended round 1. So round 1 is at the back of the array, as we would expect. So if we call pop back on the array, right, it should remove this round, right? And it did. Now round 0 is captive. See. I'm so confused. Okay, let's put in, this is round 13 up here. Let's put 13 in. Good night. Okay, what just happened? We put in round 14, and now it thinks it's got 0 and 14. Oh, I have an idea. I have an idea. This is round 0. Oops. Get out of the way again. Eureka. Okay, we know it's wrong. This was a puzzle. This is round 0. And my tidy function is putting them in the wrong places. My tidy function is putting the first one at the top. It should be putting the last one at the top. Duh. Oh my goodness. That's the problem. So we're either going to have to loop through them backwards. No. We can do this. We can do this. I feel smart. That took me way too long to figure out. But we got it. That was it. That was the trick. So look here's what it is. Var I should actually be set to the length of cartridges -1. Righto. So we're going to take the very first one. Okay. So we're going to put it at the top minus, and this is going to be a big number, and then it's going to put them incrementally higher up the stack. Yes. Yes. I think this is going to work. I think this is going to work. Now, and I'm glad I didn't just flip it from pop back to pop front, because that would have actually not solved the issue in a very confusing way. So I'm glad we didn't resort to that. Okay. So now we have 14 on the bottom. 14 is right here. So if I take this top one out, we should be left with only 14. This is 13, round number 13 on top. So if I take this one out, we should only have 14 left in the magazine. And hopefully, everything moves up the stack appropriately. Yes. Yes. Look at that. Now, we do need to fix that. We do need to fix that. But that's an easy fix, because look, we can do that right this minute. Because if we look in the 3D, this is where the follower should be at rest, when it's at the very top. And it's at this position. It's at 26. So, oh, I always do that. Okay. Easy. Easy. Alright. Okay, now let's pop some out of here. Look at that. Now, we also have to fix the spring as well. Oops. Duh. Where's our formula for the spring? We should probably put this in a function so we don't... I could put this in a function. yeah, that's working. Oh yeah, look at that spring moving now. Okay, let's fill it all the way up. Why not? What the heck? I kind of actually don't, so that one's not going to go in. I don't hate that little bump when it seats. It's not intentional, but it's not the worst thing ever. Okay, and now, you know, this isn't super elegant. That could animate upwards instead of just snapping upwards, you know? Oh. Duh. Alright. But hey, look, we need to get something done this month, you know? Not... Yeah. Also, like, that behavior isn't perfect. But it's fine. Yeah, this is incredibly acceptable. Okay, now we could make this fancier. We could make them pop out. We could any number of things. But again, let's keep this manageably simple. So let's fix a couple things. Let's have them rotate the right way when you take them out. So this is x-axis, y-axis, z-axis. The axis is the x-axis when we're talking about the cartridges. So, and if we look at this, I can tell you that's the rotation I want. So this is x rotations. We're going to say degrees to radians, like that. Well, no. We actually want it, we want 180 degrees. That's it. Easy. Right? Because then watch this, right? Like this. And then we take some out, right? So take it out. Pops back to the same orientation. Pop it out. Pop it out. Pop it in. Pop it in. Pop it in. It's perfect. Now, something that we still haven't fixed yet is you can remove around from not being the top one. See? See that? That's not right. You can't pull around out of the middle. That shouldn't happen. So, how do we fix that? We have an on-click event here. Somewhere. On cartridge input event. Right here. We have the cartridge. So, let's do this first. Right? here's a question, right? What's the easiest way? Um, why doesn't it like that one? Oh, I misspelled cartridge. There you go. Okay. Does that make sense? So, I'll comment that just to make sure it makes sense. Yep. All right. Let's see if that works. We're gonna have to fix that behavior. The follower is in the wrong spot on that first round there. So I'll have to figure that out. But okay, now I can't drag this one out of there like I could before, but I can still drag the top one. Uh-oh, that should never happen. Okay, I'm not as concerned about that, but we might want to fix that. So what's the maximum position that one could go? That's in the magazine. It's this high, right? So if we look at the magazine script right here, right? When we move all of them, here we go. Now this is going to depend on which cartridge it is, right? We could just set it to this, right? But then what that's going to do is the top round will stop moving, but the rest of the rounds will pile up behind it and actually like phase through it, right? It'll clip. And And that's not what we want. So we want to clamp all of them. That's true. We could make this a little bit less confusing with a while loop instead. We just set I back to 0. Can have it be plus still. Well, no. So it almost, you almost were right. Set I is equal to this. That's correct. And then while I is greater than 0. Oh. No, that changes the logic, right? This is less confusing if we rewrite it this way, but we're going to have to rewrite it, right? Right. So it's actually going to be cartridges I so then we're going to, if we're starting at the cartridge at the very end, right? So we're starting at the one at the end. The one at the end should be at the top. So I is a big number. Which then doesn't work, right? Because we're subtracting a big number. We're putting this one at the bottom, even though it should be at the top. If we could flip it around, we could take the bottom position, the lowest possible position, and add to it. That's kind of confusing too, though. Yeah. Whatever. But if we do it, we could say this is the most intuitive. kinda. Let's make sure that still works. So let's just comment this out for a second. Let's make sure that still works. That's really the most intuitive way I can think of to write it, so I think that's fine. Ah. Oh. Yeah, we hit another syntax error. Because I am the dumb. There we go. Where'd it go? It's not working. Yeah, Houston, we have a problem. It's either doubling up. Yeah, wait, that didn't work. No, that part's right. Yeah, maybe that. Maybe that's the secret. Nope. Well, kind of, but the... Shucks. This one's moving with it, but it's... Now the bottom one isn't going in the right spot. Why is there a gap between that and the bottom one? Do I have to do it this way? Does this really make the most sense? My head hurts. Okay, we can do this. The only reason we want to do this... let's maybe just take it back. We had code that was working, and I don't think there's a good reason to rewrite it. Yeah, this works. So why hurt our head over it? As long as we understand how it works, which we do. Cool. So, but then all we need here is we need to, like, a function for the position, and I don't want to. I don't want to repeat this logic twice. See? It's not really that complex, I suppose. think that's fine. That that really is a lot simpler than I was thinking it was going to be. We need to figure out the correct position that's possible for each cartridge, right? Oh no. Oh, I misspelled origin? Yeah. Okay, that was a little weird. Yeah, it's not working. It puts them all in exactly the same spot. Oh, that's why. Well, is it? Hold on. Well, first of all, we need to increment the... Huh? Well, but no, we actually need to do... We need to... We need to repeat the same loop that we're doing here. Nope. Okay. Maybe I have my min and my max flipped around. Because it's pushing them too far down. Oh, well, first of all. Alright. Ah. Well, Well, now it's borked, isn't it? Hmm. This is complicated. This is complicated. Right. We goofed it up by doing this. Oh. How did we goof it up? I might need a brain break. So far, so good. Right. But then by... You know what? We're clamping the cartridges, but we're not clamping the spring, you see? And now it's hosed. I don't know how that hoses it, but that hoses it somehow. Yeah. Now, before we fixed it, so let's remove this clamp component just to show what the problem is that we're fixing. This is better. This is better because this is what it was doing before, right? This is kind of a complex problem. More so than I would thought. Yeah. Mostly because we're having this in-between state where it's like half in the magazine and half out of the magazine, you know? But okay. So let's take this cartridge here and let's just kind of like brush it. See that? And that's the problem. So these are all still in the magazine, technically, right? Right? They're all still captive. But now weird things have happened. And there's actually a phantom round that's in there but not in there, you know? Yeah. Anyway. So this clamp is a big improvement. But let's take it out for just a second again. And let's pay attention to the log. Let me pull the log up over here and let's see if we can understand what's actually happening here. Because, let's see, let's put 3 in there. So let's put in 14, 13, and 12, right? With 12 on top. Okay, so this is the current state of the magazine with this end of it being the top of the magazine, right? So now, let's take one and let's just brush it along the entrance. I won't say it. And then... Oh, I might have froze it. Godot doesn't like crude humor. Okay. Yeah, it's frozen. Wonder if I created an infinite loop, really. I may have. That may be why it crashes like this. We really need to are some sound effects, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Right now, we just want it. We want it to be functionally correct. This is complex. This is complex. All right. Here we go. All right. So. Here we go. Round 14 is in. Just mix it up. Let's put in round 5 or something. Or 4, or who knows what that one was. Ooh, give us more lines of scroll back here. Yeah. And then in OBS I can make that more bigger. Oh, that's very nice. Look at that. Thing all nice and lined up, almost. Great. Okay. Cool. It was round 4. So I've got 14 in there, and I've got 4 in there. Right? Let's put one more. And 24. Alright, great. So 14, 4, 24. So now if I brush it like this, right? Let's kind of do this in slow motion. It's picked it out, and now it's lost it. Right? Ignore this cartridge array length. That's not working correctly. Now, we haven't actually popped anything. That's a misleading log statement. We should fix that. Right. So, let's read this log super quick. The whole time, the length of the array is not changing. See that? The length of the array is not changing. And let's do this a few more times. Oh, and now we've caused an infinite loop somewhere. Yeah, we're stuck in an infinite loop now. Perhaps because it's handing it back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Right, I mean, we're definitely hung on an infinite loop. And that's why it's crashing. Is because I'm creating an infinite loop condition. So we'll have to figure out that eventually too. But I'm just more interested in the problem that happens when it doesn't infinite loop right now, just so we can get our logic right. Okay, so that's number 14, put in there. Number 13. Number 19. Number 3, maybe. Oh, 4 again. Alright. So this is our current state, right here. So let's take one out. No. Let's do this. Let's brush it. Ah. Again with the crashing, right? Okay. That's interesting. I was able to do this previously without having it crash, so I wonder if this is something new. I'm not sure. Okay, we got 4 of them in there. 14, 13, 12, 11. Alright? So now, let's try to not crash it. Okay, there we go. Okay. So, we've pulled them up out of the magazine, which is not good. We don't want this, but it does look kind of cool, I suppose. But we're trying to figure out what's causing this. Well, we know what's causing this, but so now what am I trying to figure out here? Well, the thing is, it should behave exactly like it normally behaves. Well, maybe. So what happens normally when I grab this one, right? It's in a horizontal slide. Oh, but it's in a vertical slide because that's what happened most recently. So I vertical slide it straight out of there. See. Oh. But the length of the array is still 4. Because if we do a vertical slide up, it thinks it's not a captive round. That's right. So now here's a question. Here's a good question. If this might be the fix, this might be an easy fix. And that, I think, is the crux of that particular bug. But let me show you. Let's try it. Let's see if that fixes it. So let's put 3 or 4 in again. Hopefully we can manage to do this without crashing the game. Right? So there's the problem. But that's not the problem. Sorry. That's not the problem yet. The problem is, this should still work. We should be able to pull these out of here, right? So, there we go. Yep. And everything's all better. So, that fixes one of the problems we were seeing. So that's lovely. That's excellent. Now, before we get too carried away, does it really matter that tidy gets called that many times? It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't hurt anything. There's a couple more issues that we do want to address. So now let's add that clamp method back in, because we do actually want that. And we also want to clamp the spring position. Right. And we could really do that. We could call tidy after we let go of a cartridge. And that would fix the spring as well. So that's an easy, hacky solution. Right, because what we were seeing prior is we load this up, right? And then by brushing it, like we just were doing, we could force it to raise the follower and the spring even though the rounds all stayed in the right place. That's still happening. Kind of. Oh, wow. Why is the follower all the way up there? See that? What the follower is doing? That's super weird. See that? I'm very confused. Now, as soon as we take one of these out, it's going to be fixed, right? But why is the follower moving still? Okay, it was fine. See how it's still coming up? That shouldn't happen. Well. Maybe it's because we do this afterwards. What if we make this an elif? Give this a try. This might be silly. I think that fixed it. Maybe? Now, here's another question. The follower on this first round actually goes back up quite a bit. Maybe not enough for us to care. No, I don't think I care. Okay. Now, in this condition, that should actually push it back out. That might be a detail that we leave alone for now. Maybe we can program that in a bit, but... Okay, so here is a problem. Right now I can push this bad boy right back in there. Right. So... An easy solution for that would be well, here, and we can even just keep this. Is there just an array.last or something like that? Yeah, just find last. We just say back. It'd be easy enough, yeah. That's the right way to do it. Which direction are we talking about here? That would be the positive z direction. Oh, hold on. Yeah, it's still true. So we want it to be this number or greater. Or maybe 0.1 or greater. That should fix it. Right. So let's say we put one in. That works fine. We put one in. That works fine. We put one in. That works fine. Put one in. We don't slide it all the way back. We put another one in. Doesn't work. Kind of a crude system, but you know, that's good enough for me. And that'll also apply to when you're trying to put the magazine in the gun. We can check if it's obstructed, and if it is, it won't let us put it in the gun. Easy. Alright. Now, we may run into situations where we want to have that number be a little bit more forgiving. Like, because what if it's just ever so slightly out of position? Like right there, right? And they're going to be like, what gives, right? So we could have it be more like here. So even if it is a little tiny bit out of position, it still works. You know, something like this. Yeah, it still accepts that, right? Huh. I think that's a little bit too forgiving. I like 01. That seems fair. Okay. So, right. If we wanted to do stuff where it like sprung back up and stuff, we could do it. This is an interesting question too. You could even have it where you could actually pull the follower down. Because you could actually do that on a real Makarov magazine because it's got the open sides, you know. Now, the Makarov is one of the only guns where you could actually do that. But maybe eventually. Maybe we'll add that at some point. Let's not, that would be a whole nother can of worms of work. So let's not mess with it right now. Okay. The only other thing I want to do before I forget is as you're putting one in, it kind of flickers because the tidy function is trying to tidy the round that you just already are putting in. Let me show that. Let me make sure I'm not crazy about that. So an easy solution would be for the tidy function to just, see, it hasn't ran tidy yet, right? It still isn't running it, see? Right there, see, why does it dip down like that, you see? No, it never has tidy called on it. I don't know why it gets bloops down for a second there. That's a little bit of a mystery to me. Yeah. Bloop. I don't know. Something is moving it down like that. I think I'm going to leave that for a puzzle for another day. The one other thing that we could do tonight is we could add a little bit of resistive force the more full the magazine gets, and that's simplicity itself, right? So we want this to be a smaller number. Hmm. So if the spring resistance is higher, okay, that makes this easier. Then we can just say so, that is to say, when the magazine's almost completely full, you're going to have to move the mouse 4 times as far. Let's try it. Uh-oh. Division by 0. I was hoping I wouldn't have a division by 0 here. Maybe? Hang on, wait, did I spell that right? How would this be 0? 1 plus 0, so this is 1, right? Oh, we need to make this a float. That's why. It was doing integer division. Oh, hang on. It's actually making it easier. It's actually making it easier. Let's see. No, it's not working as we intended at all. How about this? Let's just modify the percent travel. So I literally could just say this. course, we get division by 0. Oh. Duh. Yeah, I mean, that's not bad. They get harder to press in as you go. I think that's fine, actually. This first one's super easy. Let's maybe let's reduce the effect slightly. I think that's a clever answer, actually. So it just won't be as... So the first one's going to be exactly the same. The last one gets pretty stiff. I think that works out pretty nicely. By the time you're at the end, it's pretty stiff to get it in. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. Alright, let's call that good. That's way too much code for loading a magazine, but it is what it is. Alright. Let's commit our changes. Sick. I like it. I like it. Let's call it a night. Yeah. We can get rid of some of these print statements, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Very cool. Have a good night, if I have anybody watching. Oh! The Makarov simulator. Hey, I see you. Welcome, welcome. How long have you been watching? Oh, Captain Furball, you're not, from Germany. That was, a different person. Welcome to the live stream. I don't know if you've stopped by before. You're my second ever live stream viewer. Nice. Well, my train of thought has probably been extremely rambling. If you've been here for more than a minute, but thanks for stopping by. How's your night been? It's kind of cool. It doesn't let us load it if it's not all the way back, you know? Gotta knock that guy in there. Been okay. Glad to hear. And that's full. That's as far as it goes. But it gets harder to press them in as you go. So there you go. First one's easy. You don't have to move the mouse very far to put the first one in. Whoop. Easy. Whoop. Alright. Malaysia. Nice. Very cool. I saw the PUBG play you had where you accidentally shot your teammate the other day, maybe? Or maybe it was suggesting me an old video of yours, but it was funny anyway. But I've only had one other person stop by, and they were from Germany, so I apologize. I had you confused with them. Their avatar is also blue-ish, so that was my first thought. But what time is it for you over in Malaysia? Oh, not bad. Nice. So yeah, uh, you're like 13 hours ahead of me, I guess, yeah. Or 14, I suppose. Nice. Yeah, maybe YouTube just suggested a really old video of yours. I don't know. I thought it was a recent one, but I could be tripping. Um, I've got plenty of probably old Tarkov clips up somewhere, although it's under a different channel, I bet. But I'm probably gonna tuck in. It's getting close to midnight here for me, and I'm doing some food shelf stuff tomorrow, so I'm excited for that. So thanks for stopping by. Cheers.